Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Emma Hutchinson's GoTeam meeting, where we will follow the agenda as it has been emailed to you and publicly noticed. I am pleased to call this meeting of the Emma Hutchinson GoTeam to order. Our first order of business is to call roll and review our norms. The secretary will now take the roll.
Ms. Phillips,
Present.
Ms. Clark,
Present.
Ms. Manning,
Present.
I am here, Ms. Ruff, Ms. Sullivan,
Present.
This team will only be able to take official action if a quorum is present. Ms. Dixon, is there a quorum present?
There is a quorum present.
We are going to proceed to the action items on our agenda. Our first order of business is to approve the agenda. This was provided to you via email. Are there any changes to the agenda? May I have a motion to approve the agenda?
Asia Phillips, motion to approve.
Thank you. May we have a second? Thank you. All in favor, please say aye or raise your hand. Aye.
Aye. Aye.
All opposed, please say nay or raise your hand. Any abstentions? Please identify yourself or raise your hand. We will review and approve the meeting minutes from our last meeting. The minutes have been provided to you via email. Are there any corrections? If there are no corrections, may I have a motion to approve the previous meeting's minutes?
I, Courtney Manning, motion to approve the previous meeting minutes.
Thank you. May we have a second? Thank you. All in favor, please say aye or raise your hand. Aye.
Aye.
All opposed, please say nay or raise your hand. Any abstentions, please identify yourself or raise your hand. We will now move to the discussion items on our agenda. We will now move to our next item of business, the budget approval presentation. Ms. Long, our assistant principal, please share with us the final budget presentation.
Okay, we just had Evelyn's mother to join. Is she one of the parents?
She is.
Okay, I was just letting you guys know. Okay. All right. Okay, can everyone see my screen?
Yes.
We see it.
Okay. All right, this is the fiscal year 25 budget. Let's see if this one let me do that. Okay. Here are our norms. This is a meeting of the GoTeam. All the members of the team may participate in the discussion. Any members of the public present are here to quietly observe. Again, just as a reminder, we will follow the agenda as noticed to the public and stay on task. We invite and welcome contributions of every member and listen to each other. We will respect all ideas and assume good intentions. Okay, here's the agenda again. And Ms. Clark, I already told you the first thing we're going to approve, approval of the agenda. Then we will go into the security grant survey. We'll talk about that, information items, and then the principal's reports and announcements. And then just a reminder for any GoTeam members to complete their requirements. Okay. Here is, let me do this. Here is the process for the GoTeam, the budget process for the GoTeam. So we have worked ourselves up these steps, and now we are at step 7, the final budget approval meeting. Just to pause to give you all just a minute just to kind of, go through so that way you get the steps. You understand that these are the steps that we take on the GoTeam to approve the budget. And as you see noted on the bottom of these conversations, they are ongoing as the steps throughout the year. Okay. So what we're going to do during this meeting, GoTeams will review the budget, which should be updated based on the feedback from the staffing conference, which I have already had with the associate soup and key leaders. And then we will take action. This is what this meeting is for, and vote. Why principals will present the final budget recommendations for GoTeam approval. When all approval meetings must be held after staffing conferences, and budgets must be approved by March 15th. Okay, here is the budget review. So here are, and I'm not going to read through all of these. You can see them. These are the budget parameters. I'm just going to kind of go through like the top 3 priorities at Hutchinson, which is around increasing our proficiency on the Georgia milestones and building teacher capacity and reducing barriers to attendance. We know, and that has also been in our SIP, these are the things that we are top 3 priorities. And then the rationale, of course, we want to ensure that students are receiving the maximized opportunities for achievement and remediation daily. Creating environments where teachers are continuing to build capacity to impact student learning, which is important, goes to the first priority. And then attendance. Our students, have to be here. We encourage them definitely to be here. So this continues to be a need in our community, making sure that the students are here. And then I'm just going to pause for about 30 seconds just so that way you can kind of read the other priorities of rationale. Okay. So around the descriptions of the strategic plan and breakout categories, which goes back to the priorities, where we just kind of went over and ranking them in order of importance. We definitely stick with the APS 5 as a focus area. What part of APS 5, these are things you're thinking about, is the priority aligned to strategies, laying out specific objectives for the school improvement. Of course, the request to ask what needs to be funded in order to support the strategy, and then the amount, what is the cost? So those are things that we think about, or that the GoTeam definitely has done throughout the year with Principal St. John. So with that being said, this was the strategic plan breakout focus. So the priorities again was to recommend high quality staff for vacant positions that arise, improve the percentage of students achieving, again, on the Georgia milestones at proficiency and distinguished level. These are the APS 5 areas that those priorities go into. And then the strategies around there is both around hiring highly effective teachers and replacing teachers that are returned if the budget allows. And then over here, these were you all's, I'm not gonna go through this in detail. This is just a reminder, refresher. This is what you guys talked about before the staffing conference, So this is kind of where you guys were, landing on what needs to happen around the budget for next year, okay? And just give you a minute just to kind of look at those requests around, just to refresh your memory.
Ms. Long, I'm sorry, I know you said staffing, conflicts, could you say what that was?
Staffing conference, that happened, I could go back. That already took place. Uh-oh, sorry. Oh, well, they put me back the other way.
Are you saying we were supposed to have staffing?
No, that was something that that's something that the principal has with the associate soup. So it was on the, sorry, it took me back the other way. Hold on. Uh-oh, and it's just going and going. Okay. Let me clear that up. No, the staffing conference, and I'm actually the one that attended the staffing conference. So let me go back. Okay. Which is on one of these. Oh, right here. Okay. This was feedback from the staffing conference. So what happens is the principal, you guys, the steps that you have taken all the way up through step 6, the principal goes amongst the associate soup and federal programs, about 8-10 people in there, and then you get feedback around the budget. That's essentially it. So nothing at the GoTeam, right?
Okay.
So that's what that is. Everybody clear on that now? Okay. All right. We will. Okay. So okay, we were here. Okay. This is the plan for the Title I. This is what you guys have been talking about with St. Joy as far as Title I family engagement funds around this. So these were the priorities again around attendance, and then again increasing, the percentage of students scoring proficiency and distinguished, and then supporting the social emotional behavior and mental well-being of students and staff through PBIS and the BAS. And then, of course, these are the areas here in APS 5. These are the strategies, care team support for student monthly attendance celebrations, academic parent teacher teams, that's the APTT, family engagement, model teachers, parents come to 3. Oh, sorry, that's just explaining, explaining APTT. So those were the strategies, and then there's the request and the amount. And again, these last 2 slides, those were things that the GoTeam have been talking about before the actual feedback, the staffing conference, okay? So this next slide is the summary of what actually has taken place, okay? Based on that, the staffing conference. So created, we moved again, was thinking about having to lose one instructional coach. We moved an instructional coach from CARES, just to remind everybody on GoTeam, CARES, we no longer will have that funding. So some of it we were able to move into the general fund. So we are actually able to move an instructional coach from CARES, okay, into the general fund. We're creating, we moved 1 para from the CARES to the general fund. 1 hourly parent liaison will be created, and 2 hourly parents will be created, okay? What was removed, we removed 2 teachers from the lowest grade level because their enrollment is around like 30 students or 32 students. 1 full-time parent liaison, and the reason being is because this is the budget. Our enrollment, we are projected to be down to, it's about 250. It's like 250 students, which that is a slight decrease in this year. So our budget will only support an hourly parent liaison right now. And then we remove 1 full-time para to be able to have 2 hourly paras. Okay, so staffing conference changes. There were changes made to the draft budget that the GoTeam discussed at your last meeting with Principal St. George. So these changes reflect about a $50,000 So the summary of changes, again, are here. 1 hourly paraprofessional instead of 2. With the additional funds, 1 proposed hourly was able to maintain a full-time. So we were able to keep 1 full-time para. That was 30,000. And then we're going to do 68,000 in materials and supplies, 22,000 in stipends, and 58,000 in reserves. Those are the impact to the budget. All right. Here, I'm not going to go through this slide in detail, but this just kind of lets you know this is our projected enrollment, 256 students. For instruction, as you see here, per pupils, about $13,354. You could just look at here. I'll give you a moment just to kind of look at the description and what's happening as far as the money is concerned with these items here. Okay, so this is just a quick and dirty, visual, just to kind of let you know, 67% pie chart of our budget is going into instruction. I do want to make note here that that is that big light blue part that you see, big chunk of that pays the teachers' salaries. Okay, so this is the way you know why it's so big. And then you see 7% is around the pupil services, 10% improvement of instructional services, 3% here, that dark blue, educational media services, 9% school administration, that pays our salaries, 4% maintenance and operations. So that is what you see. Okay. Okay, this is the discussion of reserve and holdback funds. So here we have a 58,000, about 58,000 that is in reserve. We will only be able to use that if we hit our projected enrollment, which is 256. So technically, we don't have that money right now, until we hit our projected enrollment, which is at 256. So that is what is in reserve. Okay, around there. This here on this slide pretty much just is still talked about what we've already talked about around the priorities. Just wanted to point that out. This also goes into just more about the priorities. Okay. There. Okay. So, questions for the GoTeam to consider and discuss. So, are our school's priorities from the strategic plan reflected in this budget? So we'll just start with this first one. Are new positions and or resources included in the budget to address our major priorities? Do we know as a team the plan to support implementation of these priorities beyond the budget? What trade-offs are being made in order to support these priorities? Okay, the big question here, how are district and cluster priorities reflected in our budget? So cluster priorities, what staff, materials, etc., are dedicated to supporting our cluster priorities. Signature programs, what staff, materials, etc., are dedicated to supporting our signature program. And then are there positions our school would share with another school, example, nurse or counselor. . And Ms. Jacoby, please correct me if I'm wrong here. These questions, that is okay for the Go Team to discuss if need be or answer here.
Yes, it is expected and encouraged for the Go Team to discuss these questions.
Okay.
So how will having, thank you, so how will having one coach affect support and instruction?
So remember, we're gonna be able to have two coaches. It was originally, you guys thought we were gonna have to lose a coach, based on that, but we are actually able to, keep both coaches. One will move over to, okay? Yeah. And then also just keep in mind that we will also, it's not a part of the budget because the district is paying for it, but, with the Readers Are Leaders initiative, we will have a Readers Are Leaders, I don't know if they're calling it specialist or coach yet, but that we will have that for next year as well, specifically to support in the superintendent's initiative.
And Ms. Long, I saw there were teacher tutors coming in. Is that for only the grade levels? I think it said only for grade levels with 2 teachers, or will that be for each grade level?
No, I don't know. There are not teacher tutors. That might be something that you guys discuss as a possibility, but at this time,
It's not. Okay.
there aren't any teacher tutors that are being hired, but that doesn't mean that it can't, because also think about the reserve, the money in the reserve,
Right.
right? Okay. So that would still be at the forefront as something that could possibly still happen. Good questions. Mhm.
And then the decision for the two teachers was based off of projected enrollment in the lower grade.
Say that again. I'm sorry, Dixon. I didn't hear you.
The two teacher, I remember seeing something about the, two teacher per grade level. Was that,
The 2 teachers per grade level, yes.
was that decided based off of, the projected enrollment for those grade levels, or is that for the entire school?
Oh, yes, yes. So that was decided based on, one, the funding, right, around what we had, and then 2, the projected enrollment. So the 2 teachers in those 2 grade levels, they have the lowest, projected enrollment, around 30 kids. Mhm.
And you're saying for the lower grade, correct?
It is for the two grade levels with the lowest enrollment. And I want to say both of them are in our primary, I believe so. Yeah.
My question was around enrollment. This is Ms. Manning, and I think I asked this, I'm not sure, but are there any initiatives going on now to try to increase enrollment for next year?
You mean with regards to the district or
School based, yeah, particularly with our school.
Yeah, so it is the let me see how I can put this. I don't think that we can really impact, I mean, in our community where we are, as we see things are happening, things are changing. The apartment complex, right over here, 532, they are phasing out. And so that is where a big chunk of our enrollment has decreased, and they're going to continue because remember, they're going to be phasing that all the way out. So I'm thinking that what's going to happen, we're going to drop and then we're going to come back up eventually, right? Because of the changes that's happening in the community. But right now, as we're going through these changes, that's just kind of the nature of of the beast. I don't know where you would necessarily get kids as they are phasing out, community.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks.
You're saying you're not a plan in place to increase the enrollment at the time?
You had a question, Dixie, say it again.
Oh, I'm sorry. I said, so are you saying you're not planning at the time to increase the enrollment?
Is there time, wait, is time, hold on, wait, let me see. Let me make it, all
She
the
said,
way
is
up.
there a plan to increase the enrollment, or are we kind of just gonna let it slide?
Well, as the Go Team, that could be something that you guys could, that you definitely could address, but as far as like the district right now, again, it's one of those things that, we are being impacted, and we're not the only. It's across. It's across, being impacted enrollment. It's across the district, and even just the state. I mean, everywhere, it's being impacted. But I would say, you guys have a lot of concerns around, what are we doing as a Go Team, and I think that's important. So keep that in mind, because that's something as the Go Team that you guys can help to drive, if it is, if that makes sense. Okay. But I do see the enrollment decreasing and then coming back up, because that's typically what happens as community, they're phasing out. You see it time after time, and then enrollment increases if the district doesn't decide to go a different route, which, we kind of talked about that, earlier, just around, schools closing or whatnot. We don't know. That would be a district, district decision. Mhm. But I do think it's important. It's good that you guys are raising these concerns, and as the Go Team, that is a part of what you can help to impact or put things in place around, what can you do. Mhm.
In regards to, can you all hear me? I'm sorry, my
Yes.
phone, it keeps going. In regards to, I know in the initial presented budget, they were saying it was for 2 paraprofessionals, but after the meeting, they took it down to 1 paraprofessional. What would that leave? How many paraprofessionals would be left in the building for support? With us, I guess we would be losing 1 or 2.
So actually, yeah, what you guys talked about was losing 2, but we was actually able to bring 1 back full time, and then we're making 2 hourly positions. So currently we're not losing any paraprofessional positions.
Okay, they're just being reclassified as
Right,
far as
yes.
hourly and salary.
Mhm. Yep.
Okay, so but their hours would be the same. Does it normally, when it's
And their
hourly?
hours are a little different, with it being hourly, because they're not considered full time. So their hours are different because they are hourly.
Okay.
So with that change to hourly, how does that impact the day-to-day, like breakfast, the different things that we typically use them, for as support?
So based on their hours, they would still work in the morning. They could possibly have a different schedule, to them to help out, to ensure that those things, we're still able to do that. If not, then we would have to make a different shift, a different move. So if we don't have the body in the time, and I'm just using breakfast for example, because we do use pairs. If we don't have it to do it, then we would have to make a different shift. It is still always an option. The students can go to the cafeteria, to eat breakfast, but right now, that's okay. But those are things that, yes, absolutely, we do have to think about. So if we just absolutely could not make it happen at all, then we would have to move into that. But if so, we still kind of making it work with food, then we'll be okay. As far as I would say that may be the biggest. Lunch as well, something around that. We would it may be a sometimes it comes down to the other, or the instructional coaches sometimes. I know I've been to schools where instructional coaches, they have like a duty because you don't have enough, other staff, whatever the case may be. So around that, so that way the teachers still have their duty-free lunch. Definitely gonna keep that, but we will have to make some adjustments if possible. But again, right now we're not losing any pairs. It's just 2 that will be going to hourly. And I will say, based on their hourly schedule, I think it's 0.29 is what they work. So it will essentially look like they may be doing, and this is just an example. They may be doing like an 8 to 2 or something like that. So they will still be here majority of the day, if that, helps to clarify around of the instructional day. Okay. But those are the hours. It's like 0.29 that they can work. I believe so. A week. These are great questions, great discussion, things that definitely, that we do have to think about. And of course, always remember we do have the reserve, right? So always keep that in mind as the GoTeam, because we don't have it yet, but if we hit those numbers, then we will have that, and then that will bring about more money, right? And you could possibly, that's how when we got that extra 50,000 or so, that's why we're able to bring one of the pairs back. You see what I'm saying? Full time. So it could possibly definitely still change and bringing in, bringing one of the pairs back full time, or we can bring back the parent liaison full time. Yep. Okay. Any other considerations or discussion items? But definitely keep that reserve, because that's important. And we gonna hit our numbers. we do. It's hard, but we're gonna work hard to definitely hit the numbers. Okay. You guys, any other discussion or considerations? Or you guys, everybody okay? Is Dixon talking?
Yes, but we in the same room.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Oh, okay, that's what's going on. Okay, that's fine. I can't hear. Yeah, you guys are saying you guys are good.
No, hold on. She's asking one more question.
Oh, okay.
If the class size is, bigger, what does that support look like?
Yeah.
You said the class sizes are going to be bigger.
If we go down to 2 teachers per grade level, if the class size.
So remember, that's not every grade level. That's the 2 lowest grades that are sitting at 30 students right now that are going down to 2. Yeah. That's not school wide, but I do understand. I get you with that question, because there are some schools that's happened to move into 2. Yep. Yeah. There are, but we're not there yet. It's yeah. Right now, it's 2 grade levels you guys are looking at, and their enrollment is projected to be 30 students. So you're talking about 15 students. Any other discussions or considerations? Yeah. Okay. No? All right. Okay. All right. Any questions? Any more questions that you guys have? Okay. All right. So, I think we have arrived. Action on the budget. That the GoTeam needs to take action, which means vote on the presented budget. And then after the motion and the second, and the GoTeam may have additional discussion questions around that. So I will hand it over, because I am a non-voting member.
Thank you, Ms. Long, for sharing this information. I will now entertain a motion to approve the budget.
I, Courtney Manning, motion to approve the budget.
Thank you. May we have a second?
I, Angel Sullivan, motion to second the motion to approve the budget.
Perfect, thank you. All in favor, please say aye or raise your hand. Aye. All opposed, please say nay or raise your hand. Any abstentions, please identify yourself or raise your hand. We will now move on to our second discussion item. The governor will be proposing a grant aimed at enhancing security in schools statewide. If approved by the Georgia General Assembly, this grant would allocate $45,000 annually to each school. In light of this potential opportunity, the Operations Division is eager to gather insights from the GoTeam regarding the most effective ways to utilize this grant to enhance security within your school. Your input is invaluable in ensuring that these resources are allocated in a manner that maximizes their impact on the safety and well-being of our students and staff. The survey should be completed by March 29, 2024 to ensure that your input is considered in the planning process. Ms. Long, can you please provide the survey and facilitate this discussion?
Yes, so I just want, you guys to keep in mind, that this is a grant. So what happens, and I don't know if you're familiar, but I'm not gonna assume anything with grants. It is, from the time to the time of the grant, and then the grant has to be, renewed. So if the grant, and I'm not for sure, I know this says annually, but I'm not for sure how long, the grant is. Just keep that in mind that if it's, not there or we don't get it, then that means we will lose this, okay? This funding here, it is a grant. But we'll have it for now. We'll definitely appreciate it and use it, okay? English. So, let me stop. Can you guys see my screen? Okay, so
Yes.
this is the this is the this is the link, like I said, and we are going to we can discuss, you guys can discuss. I'll kind of go through the preferences that we can rank, and then I'll kind of be listening to you guys discuss it, and I'll kind of move the top 3 or 4 that you guys are thinking about up, and then we can kind of go through there, and then we can submit it. Okay. So this is just how we would prefer. So a school, and let me ask you this because I'm not for sure. Principal St. Joy, have you guys discussed this previously? This is the first time.
I'm sorry, Ms. Long, I can help with that.
Okay.
This survey came from operations around the beginning of March, around March 1st. So this is the first time all Go teams are seeing it.
Okay.
And you all have had a great meeting so far and some great discussions, but I have to go support another school. So, as you know, if any of you ever have any questions, feel free to reach out to our office. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so SRO. Okay, so we could get a school resource officer. However, I want you to pay attention to this. This is $100,000. Okay, so that means whatever that $45,000, we have to incur that cost. Okay, around there. Okay, in which we don't have it right now to incur it. Right, we don't have it. You can share an SRO with another school. So again, they're saying it's about $100,000. If each school gets 45,000, then there's still a little chunk, left that the schools would need to pay. Okay. You have to add ballistic film to windows. Okay, she could do fencing, and they don't have, I guess they only put little description around stuff. Fencing, so think more fencing. Addition to exterior lighting, student ID systems, additional badge readers, additional interior and exterior cameras, non-instructional security aid, which is different from the SRO. So a non-instructional security aid, as you see here, to man metal detectors, hall monitoring, and camera monitoring. They're not an SRO, but they are just present themselves as another aid, right, around security. Two-way radios, we do have those, just so that way you guys know. Window coverings and blinds, additional metal detectors, clear book bags for students, and then if you guys see fit for anything else, we can put it in the other. So, I will, I can let you all know, just what Principal St. Joy, I was aware of this, already coming about, and just some of the things that she would like you all to consider. If you guys don't mind, I can let you know that, okay? Her suggestion would be some additional interior and exterior cameras. We do have some that currently, we have some hidden spots, hot spots, some not working. The other is around additional exterior lighting outside, right there. It gets really dark when it gets dark. And then one of the other things was around fencing. We do have in the back here, people can kind of just walk up or whatnot. So we, it's really little fencing, but we could possibly, try to block that or prevent that from happening. And then there was discussion around maybe possibly sharing an SRO officer, but I'm not for sure if she knows that it's about 100,000, and so there'll still be a cost to incur, from the schools around there just based on this. But those are things that she just discussed and just for you guys to think about. But again, it is the GoTeam decision, and I'll let you guys discuss, and then we can move.
Well, right now, in regards to our student resource officer we have now, are we sharing him, or is he at our school?
So yes, technically, Mr. Officer Johnson, he is at South Atlanta. Primarily that is where he is. But they are currently the district kind of assigned, they all are kind of assigned to the hot spots or, high schools, different things like that, middle schools, and then the elementary school, they are assigned to elementary school to support, here and there. That's why we see him, in the mornings. There's sometimes where we don't, get a chance to see him because he be, at South Atlanta or somewhere else. But this would be, this here would mean they would be here, and then of course the sharing would be with another school, and they are, back and forth. You're hiring your own, the school is hiring their own.
So you want us to just pick out the most important things?
Yeah,
what we think is important.
With the GoTeam, what they, like I said, I just gave you all the discussion that St. Joy and I had, and what things that she just, things that she wants you guys to be aware of, that she thought about, as you're going through your discussion, and where she sees, a good use of this, of this.
So yeah.
Is it, Ms. Long,
Yes.
is it possible you can look at the one where it says additional person in the building, like security aid?
Right here, yeah. No, that's it. That's all that they have. When I click on it, it's gonna move it up. Yeah, they just
okay.
yeah, they just gave information, I guess, around here just to kind of let you know a little bit more around it, but everything else is pretty much basic. But that is essentially what it says it is. It's not an SRO,
Right.
officer, but it is an aide that would do these things, that be used to. We don't have metal detectors here, but hall monitoring, camera monitoring types of things, just another body, to kind
And
of
so
be.
would that be a cheaper,
What
I
are
know this person wouldn't be armed as the SRO officers are, the SROs are, but would this person would it be cheaper? Because I'm assuming that the 100,000 is coming from benefits and all of that. That SRO is a full-time
Right, yeah.
employee.
So with the
So that
mhm.
I'm sorry, the non-instructional aid would be at the same salary as like a paraprofessional, correct? Is that
the
what I'm
40
assuming?
the $45,000 and it will be enough to pay. Yeah,
Would
whatever.
pay, okay.
Yeah, so that's why you don't see that around there. And here,
Okay.
it's saying that the school will be responsible, for these two, but
Mm.
everything else is, yeah.
So I have a question about the radio. What are the two-way radios? What's that?
The two-way radios, that's what we have, the radio.
That's what we have already.
Yeah, yeah.
So will every classroom get one? Or is
It just really depends. It just really depends. It's really vague. I guess the 45,000 I guess that could be something that the GoTeam, right now, it just looks like, you're ranking them, and then I guess it goes from there, around the money. I don't know. I guess it could be, I don't know if you get more clarification, like once you say, okay, these are the priorities, okay, two-way radios, and then you can go from there with however much they are. They don't have here, what they are, or probably, I don't know, you may get to choose, what I'm saying, the radios or whatnot, price them. I don't really know around there. It could be possibly that each classroom gets one, depends on, I guess, the cost. But that again, what they're saying here, I guess 45,000, whatever you could get with $45,000 around the two-way radios.
And the student ID systems, is that something we already have too, or is that what is
No, we don't have
that?
we don't have student ID.
Do you know or have?
So how would that how does that work?
It would
The
be
ID,
an ID. It
they
would
would
be
have
a
an ID
system to make
card.
IDs.
They would have ID cards. And so how would we use them? Or would they be, I mean, how would we use
Well, that would be
them
for the
in the
GoTeam.
school?
That's for you all, yeah, to decide. You could, I mean, just think about, this is elementary. When I think about student ID systems, I do think about older, older students. But essentially, they would have an ID and walk around with it, I guess.
What do you guys think about the metal detectors? I think that the metal detectors provide us with multiple, kind of like killing two birds with one stone type of thing. Because if we are notified that there is, a weapon or something that senses the metal detector to go off, then essentially we would automatically involve a resource officer or some type of other form of security to take place if a metal detector goes off. So I think that kind of kills two birds with one stone, especially considering the things that are going on around the world with school safety.
Yeah, I can see it in that sense. It also says hall monitoring. So does that entail, what does that entail? Somebody in the hallway monitor? What is that?
Well, I see that it says man metal detectors, and then I see if you scroll down this long, there's another category that says additional metal detectors. So do we already have metal detectors, or is that they're assuming that we already have them?
Right. So with the non-instructional security aid here, I am comprehending it. That you're paying for the non-instructional security aid. This is what it's saying, that the aid, like Ms. Dixon said,
It
will be
does.
used to man metal detectors. Yeah. This is, you want additional metal detectors. We don't have any, so it would be a, obviously, it would be a not an addition, but you know.
Are they not talking about like the scan metal detectors, like where they scan you, the handheld metal detectors where you come in and is that, I know I was at a school and
Oh,
that's what
I
they
don't,
use.
it's very, yeah, it's very vague here, so it
Okay.
may depend on what the GoTeam, like, you know, you say that, and then like again, you know, it may be, okay, now what kind, you know, what you're gonna get type of thing. It's very vague here and not a lot of, you know, information. Like I said, this is y'all's first time hearing about it, and I think pretty much this is pretty much what even Principal St. George just kind of got. Hey, go get this money, you know, and then that's that. But I would only think, or the right thing would be, you know, the school will kind of decide if this is, you know, what, you know, and I don't know once you rank your top three, do you get your top one or how that works, you know, once you rank them. I don't know if operations, you know, kind of comes out, okay, this is what, and, you know, it says I'm not really for sure, but we're just gonna rank these and then, but I would only think, let's say for something like metal detectors, um, they may give some parameters around what kind, if that makes sense. Because there
Well,
may be. Mhm,
no, go ahead. I'm sorry.
mhm. No, I was just saying because there may be a certain kind that you can get or that you can't get, you know, and stuff like that. So you would have to wait to get, you know, to get into that a little bit deeper. Right now, it's very vague, you know, here. Hmm.
Can we go ahead and rank the ones that we know we,
Definitely want
don't
the time.
want or want first, or move the ones at the bottom that we already have to make it more
Mhm.
Uh-huh.
effective
Yeah.
for-
So I heard you guys talk about, yeah, I'll move that. Talked about that. I don't, let's see. You talked
I
about,
think it would be easier to move the ones at the bottom that we already have, like the clear book bags. I don't think anybody mentioned that.
oh, it's there. It's already at the bottom. Yeah.
The
I'm
window
just moving
coverage,
up to the top. Yeah. Just some things that y'all talked about. That's all.
Well, I like the idea of
Interior
having an
cameras.
SRO officer. I know for my students, and I apologize if I'm going in and out. I'm kind of in a rural area, but it's the relationship that I think our officer has with our kids. He comes in, he's a friendly face. He just kind of gets the day started off right, and I think, you know, some students might need that personal touch from him every day. And you know, students who are in need of talking to someone. Maybe there was an incident that happened in class. You know, I think it's nice having him there to help redirect and support in that way.
And so just keep in mind with the SRO, um, and I don't know if you're saying share or get
Yeah,
one, but you're saying share around the share.
yeah,
So just keep
yeah.
in mind with the share,
Hmm.
um, you still would have a cost to incur because it's only 45,000 for each school. But I'm not saying you know, this obviously could still be in the ranking, you know, around. It's not, we got to rank all of these, but this could be higher up. But just keeping that at the forefront and around. Where is that? I guess 10,000 extra, which will ultimately 5,000 for each school. You know, would have to pay. And that would have to be, that's going to be a yearly thing. So just keep that in mind because each year that we get this grant, 45,000, and we want to keep that SRO, which will be a year-to-year thing, right? You would have to, just to keep that in mind. Not saying that it's not a good, idea or anything like that. I definitely, hear you on that, but just keeping that in mind as a go team around that. So I do have it up here at the top. These are the things that I didn't rank them. I just moved what you guys have been talking about. Or what was mentioned up here closer. I will move this one down. Oh, sorry. I don't think anybody, I haven't heard anybody say, we want our own officer based on that cost. So we can just move that one.
Well, and then in terms of cost, it would be more cost efficient than to do the have the metal detectors. I guess you never know what could happen, because I'm just thinking like now, I know I haven't heard of any issues, students bringing weapons to school, but I guess essentially it would perform the same function as an SRO,
And also,
you know,
mhm.
in terms of safety.
Yes, and also considering our new badges that we receive, I think that could go in lieu with the metal detectors. So maybe we should move that up.
See. Yeah, I haven't ranked them. I mean, that doesn't necessarily mean it's gonna stay at 4. What I just did was put the ones that y'all are mainly talking about up here at the top. So you guys are ready to move into ranking. What about y'all's
The
thought on
lighting,
the exterior lighting?
The lighting, I think we should
I
focus
would agree.
on that direct.
Wait, say that again, Dixon.
I said I was just thinking if we're being smart about it, we should choose things or rank things higher that directly impact the students. I don't know how the exterior lighting really impacts us because we really aren't here after, late at night unless it's during APTT. I know our admin, sometimes stays late and things like that. But I don't know.
Or coming early in the morning,
Yeah,
for
coming
people
early.
who come, or because I know there have been incidents this year with a homeless person, maybe homeless people around the school, which if we had more lighting around the school, it might deter them from hanging out, by the doors and stuff. So I do
I
think
think
the
that's part
lighting
of
is a good idea. Huh?
I think that's part of a fencing issue as well.
Because where would we put, and so that was my other question. I know you mentioned something in the back, and I'm trying to visualize in my head the fencing that we do have. Where would we further place the fencing? Would it be around the perimeter, the sides, the back,
It could be. It's the
uh-huh.
GoTeam. It's the GoTeam decision. To be honest, I mean, it's the GoTeam decision. So that's something that you guys. I know. What St. Joy and her discussion was around. Remember, this back here, people, you can just come on up right around the and we've had it before, where people,
Yeah.
have come on up. So her issue was around there, but it could be multiple places, or whatever the case may be. Mhm.
So was the fencing ever factored or the security of that ever factored in the previous budget?
Was it ever factored in a previous budget? Oh, that wouldn't be a part of the that would not be a part of the budget that Principal St. Joy. Now it may be a part of the operations and around something that they want to put at the schools, but not like the fencing has not been, not to my knowledge.
So which one is cheaper, the lighting or the fencing?
Oh, I don't know. Listen.
Oh, we don't.
Listen, it would be nice if they would have some estimates, but guess what? The only estimates that they giving us right here are these SRO. I have no idea.
Yeah, because I like both ideas. I think they're both important.
Okay.
Ms. Burgess,
Excuse me.
if you guys have anything that you want to add, you can let us know.
Yeah, I see a pen.
Discussion. But we do have to vote on it. So if you guys have anything that you want to add to this conversation, feel free to enter.
Miss Phillips was talking.
Yeah.
Miss Phillips, go ahead.
Was she saying that we needed to move on? If we need to move on, it's okay.
No. Do you have something that you wanna say around the security?
Right.
So I have a question before I offer some feedback. So with that grant, is that a set amount that you all would get? One, and my phone is going in and out, so I think I missed whether or not you say this would be awarded to you all yearly. So my first question is that a set amount that you all would be awarded? And then two, would you all be awarded this grant yearly?
So yes, it is a yearly grant, And what I said was just be mindful around grants. You know, after a certain time or whatever period this is, and they didn't say, you know, this grant is for 10 years, like we don't know. But it does say 45,000 annually. But if the grant was not to be there, you know, at some point after 5 years or 10 years, then it
And is
could,
that a
right,
set
yeah.
amount, like you all couldn't get more than that?
No, this is what we are getting. This is
Okay.
what is set. Yep, this is
Okay.
what is set. And so these are the things that they are saying that, you know, you could do. And of course there's some other there. So yep, that's around that.
So what's your feedback now?
Yes.
What do you think?
Oh, so I was wondering, because sometimes with grants, if you can prove to, you know, whatever organization or government entity is rewarding the grant, that you are allocating the funds according to, you know, the parameters that's given, then you can request more funding. And the reason why I brought that up is because and this is a perspective of mine being a former operations manager of a government facility in Washington. And so we had high security. And then after that, I worked for somewhere else where it was high security. So some of the things that we had to do was basically paperwork or audits, things like that, that can show, you know, hey, this is where the money is going to. This is where we would need more money, you know, because it would, you know, it will offer a higher level of safety. And with, for example, for lighting, you all were saying that you aren't there all the time. But if you can show that, okay, if we get motion sensor lighting, you know, when we aren't here, then, you know, there's no electricity that's being wasted, which cuts down on costs. But when you all are, you know, in the building, then it comes on, and it comes on as it's needed. So maybe in the beginning, it might not be, you know, cost friendly or whatever. But if you're looking long term, then, you know, you won't have to replace bulbs as much, you know, because it's not high usage. As far as the metal detectors, we use tan wands, and that is more cost friendly than having an actual metal detector, as well as having to, you know, do any work to upkeep those metal detectors as well. So for me, I would just say, like, if you were to make the choices, just try to find out like the more cost friendlier options for each category. That way you're stretching your money, and then also you're looking at a well implemented plan, you know, going into the future. So that was just my take on it.
Thank you, Ms. Phillips. I think those are really good ideas and really good insight. Do we have the flexibility to consider options that are not like in the list that you provided us?
They have a other, but you have to type it in. They do have a other.
Oh, okay. Okay. Thank you, Ms. Phillips.
Yep. They have a other.
Oh, no problem.
Yeah.
No problem.
They have a other. And this is not a grant that we wrote. Yeah, this is coming from the state of Georgia, the Department of Education. And actually just looking at this, the grant has not been approved, but if approved, then this is what will happen. So this, you know, FYI. So what I have here, just around, like I said, the things that you guys have been talking about. So we can go ahead, if you guys are okay, we can kind of rank these. I'm not for sure if you guys wanted the non-instructional aid first or the metal detectors first, or it doesn't really matter. So this is what I heard a lot. Or if you want something else first that's in these top right here.
I think 1 and 2 are fine, yeah. I think 1 and 2 are fine since they're kind of one and the same.
Okay,
You can't have one without the other.
okay,
Uh,
I think 4 and 5 should be switched.
okay. Okay. So right now, 1 through 4
3
look
and 5.
good with everybody.
I was gonna say maybe 3 and 5 switch to.
Okay. Oh, switch. So put 5 where 3 is.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I would say put SRO. Because I mean, if we have metal detectors, if we're talking about metal detectors, would the SRO still be
Oh, you're not
necessary?
gonna get both. You're not gonna get out. Yeah, we ain't gonna get out. Yeah, this is
Yeah.
just the priority.
So,
Yeah, this is just this
and we're
is
ranking the top 3.
yeah, this is just early state. Well, no,
Oh,
we
okay,
gonna
yeah.
rank all of them. We gotta rank all of them in the order, but I just put the ones that you guys, have been discussing. But this is just early stages of it. I'm pretty sure, you'll probably be able to come back, but this is something, hey, this is what we talked about. These were in our top 5, type of thing. So I don't think it's not anything set in stone. 1, it hasn't been approved yet. 2, you're always gonna get to come back, to something because then you gotta, figure out, what's the call, where you going, what's gonna happen and stuff. So this is very, very vague. This around, okay, we've had a discussion, this is what we see. This is our list of what we're saying, in priority, what we would like to have, if that makes sense.
So I would actually and I'm trying to after the exterior camera, I would put the lighting and the fencing since it's all like security from 1 to 3 that's dealing with security. I would, and you guys, tell me your thoughts on that, but I would actually put is the exterior lighting and the fencing beneath, I think that's number 3, additional interior and exterior camera.
Okay. Go to
Only because it's all dealing with security. I mean, what's the feedback on that? Any feedback on that?
I think they're thinking. Give them some think time.
Yeah,
okay.
I mean, one is securing all of the things that you just said, the fencing, the cameras, that's all securing the building. So when we look at the instructional aid and the SRO, that's just manpower to me. So I agree with maybe keeping the one that we have and then batching all those together, the exterior light and metal detectors and what additional interior and exterior and fencing. Because I really think fencing is more important than the lighting.
Yeah.
Just because I'm at the end of the building where the door is, and I'm always thinking about that.
Yeah. So fencing above lighting.
Yeah, fencing I think should be top priority.
Okay, so
I mean, up under 2, not top priority, but at least like
right
2.
up there,
Yeah.
right in the higher.
Under 3.
So is is this what I'm hearing? So 1 non-instructional security aid as number 1. Is that?
Well, maybe fencing should be number 1 since that's more of an immediate issue versus the metal detectors.
I don't agree.
I always think about Miss Alonzo being up there by herself or whatever, and like, you know what I'm saying? Usually when people do invade and come into the building, they actually come through the front door.
That's true, and she just buzzing them in, and no way of checking. Yeah,
right.
Okay, I got
So I think the things that we really, really want need to be in the top 3.
Okay.
So then would fencing be number 2?
No.
Cause you can't have number 1 without number 2.
Well, you can.
Where would
You can. They don't. We don't have to have
detectors go.
So, hold on. You don't have to. You don't have to have. Just because it says use the metal detectors. This is so that way you guys know doesn't necessarily mean they have to that's if you have them. So it will still, the non-instructional security aid will still just be a warm body in the building for hall monitoring, camera monitoring. So don't think like you gotta have metal detect, you don't have.
So maybe fencing, metal detectors, and then the cameras.
Okay, so like this.
Well,
So
I agree
fencing,
with what Sullivan said. I think that makes sense too. Because initially I was thinking fencing first, but then when Sullivan put it that way about Alonzo being there by herself, perhaps putting a metal detector would be more of a priority, urgent
yeah,
priority than the
agreed.
fencing. Yeah.
I
So,
think so too.
so switching this,
Yes.
okay,
So fencing number 2.
yeah. And
Yeah.
actually, I'm just gonna put, here, I'll put adding metal detectors because we don't have any.
Okay.
And then we can move that up. Because that says additional, so we can move that here. The other, because we don't really have any. Just move that down for me. Okay. So non-instructional security aid, adding metal detectors, fencing, additional interior exterior cameras, additional exterior lighting, sharing the SRO, additional badge readers, the ballistic film, two-way radios, window coverings, ID systems, the full-time, additional metal detectors, clear book bags. So those okay, where they are. Okay.
Where's clear book bags? At the bottom,
all the
right?
way
Bottom. We already
Yeah.
got those. Well,
Yeah.
we'll probably get those from whoever gave those to us this year.
Yeah.
We can move the radios too, I think, by clear book bags.
Yeah.
We already have those.
Okay.
Yeah. Student IDs is window coverings. What do y'all think about that? We have that, right?
We got the blinds.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not everybody.
though.
Yeah, not everybody.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Dixon don't have them.
So you want me to move this
You don't
up?
have blinds? Oh.
Yeah.
Damn,
You want me to move
I
this
heard
up?
no. I didn't know, because remember you could actually see when people are
Yeah.
walking in that courtyard area.
I
Y'all
was
want me
just gonna say that's a huge security issue because when we go into exterior or what is it, one of those lockdowns, and we got to pull the blinds down, you don't have any to pull down. So your windows, I mean, I'm just saying you exposed. That's not good.
Okay, so do you guys want me to move this on up?
Yeah.
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 Okay.
Above SRO.
Right there, yeah.
Right there.
I would say
Or
either under. I was just about to say under fencing. That's right.
Okay. At the fencing. Okay. All right.
And then the additional badge readers can go down because we just got those, kind of.
So that additional badge readers, those are at the doors. So I will say
keep
yeah, we do have some that don't work. So we're functional, but it wouldn't be a bad idea. So I would.
Yeah. I like that one too.
Okay, I thought they were meaning new badge cards.
Yeah, no, those are the real readers. Okay. So y'all good, right? Good.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Miss Long, I don't know if you selected the school at the top.
I'm getting ready to make sure everything is selected. That's why I'm before I submit it. Make sure. Okay.
So we submit this and then Miss St. Joy or whomever reviews it and discusses it again, or how does it work?
No, she won't do she won't review it. It's gonna go to wherever it's gonna go, but that's not her. It's gonna go to probably security operations, and then however the Georgia DOE, its next steps and stuff will come from them. Because that's who it is. If that makes sense. Yeah. Okay. All right. So we have submitted that. Yeah. And if it's even approved, then it will go, it'll go from there. And then, more discussion or whatnot need to happen. Okay. All right. So, whoosh, y'all a tough crowd.
Hey, I know you thought you were
Okay,
gonna be out of here that quick, faster than now.
I know.
She thought
Okay.
this was gonna be boom, bam, bam.
Right. I thought boom, bam, bam. Y'all tricked me.
Wow.
Okay, Miss Clark, we're ready.
We got you hemmed up.
Now move on to information items. The first is the principal's report.
Okay, the principal's report. There's a section for announcements, right? Okay, so I'll
Yes.
is there a section for announcements? Okay, so
Yes,
I'll,
there is. Yes. At the end.
okay. All right. The principal's report. Uh-oh. Oh, here we go. Okay. So these are just some upcoming dates. Don't forget, we are already in MAP growth, the 11th through the 15th. Then we will be 18th to the 22nd, MAP reading fluency. Q3 report cards. They should be viewable by March 18th on the parent portal. We have APTT night, March 28th. Spring break will be the 1st through the 5th, and the Georgia milestones. Is technically April 29th through May 14th. But May 10th is like our main administration day. But I'll update that. Yeah, should be until May 14th. Okay. On there. That's all for the principal's report. Okay. I'm finished with the principal's report.
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Long. We will now hear about any additional information items and announcements.
Okay. Don't forget, your voice matters. Everybody, if you have not done so, make sure and share, around the student calendar survey. It will be open until Friday, March 15th. So make sure that you have shared your voice around the calendar. Okay, that's the English, and there is a Spanish version. Okay. Uh-oh. Not clicking through. So there's the QR and there's the Spanish version. Okay. That is around the student calendars for 25, 26, 26, 27, 27, 28 school year. Please make sure you take the survey. Okay. And then GoTeam members, just remember to complete your required trainings, orientation, ethics, budget, complete the end of the year surveys. I believe you should receive that from the GoTeam office. So I guess check your email for the links, and you have like a GoTeam self-assessment and the principal feedback, I guess, on the GoTeam. That's it.
Thank you. We have reached the end of our agenda. Is there any additional business at this time? Okay. May I have a motion to adjourn this meeting?
Motion to adjourn this meeting.
Thank you. May I have a second?
I
second that.
second to adjourn. Second motion.
Perfect. Thank you. All in favor, please say aye or raise your hand. Aye.
Aye.
Yeah. All opposed, excuse me, please say nay or raise your hand. Any abstentions, please identify yourself or raise your hand. This meeting is adjourned.
All right. Thank you,
See y'all later.
everyone.
All right.
Great meeting. Y'all,
Thank you.
y'all came, y'all meant business, didn't you?
Don't ever sleep on us.
I know that. Miss
You
Dixon?
gotta do well.
Okay,
All right, thank
all right.
you.
Thank you.
Okay, bye.